That was just an absolute slaughter. I knew that one of them would probably be a bit more popular than the other ones, but it wasn't even close. Hi, my name is Kevin, and if you didn't see it last week, I keep saying coded up. I didn't code anything. This is like my fourth take, and every time I say code. I designed 3 different sign-up things for like an email, the name, email, submit thing, sign up for my newsletter type of deal, and one of them won, and it won by a long shot. So in this video, we're coding up this design right here. It's going to be fully responsive. We're going to make it just really, really cool, really awesome. I think the best one won as far as at least being the most interesting one. I know a few people said stuff like one of them, especially the first one, a few people said is outdated. I think it depends on the layout and maybe just stand alone like that. Yeah. But I do think for the purposes here, the best one did one. It's going to be the most interesting one to design. So let's go and see. Before I said code, when I meant to say design, and now I said design when I should say code. Let me stop fumbling over my words and let's go and code it up. All right, so here we are in VS Code. I'm ready to go. I just have a really basic document here. I am linking to my own CSS file as well as the Google font here, PT Sans Narrow, which I used in my design. So let's get started on this. We'll move down a little bit, and the first thing we want is a form. There we go. I don't really want it to go anywhere right now, and I'll just give this a class of form because I like having classes on everything. Inside my form, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to have a form item. So we have my form item, and in there, I'm going to give this, we're going to put in our input. So type text is awesome. But on the type text here, we're also going to want to put in a class, and I'll call it form input, so we can style that a little bit. We can give this the placeholder because this is going to be my first, we'll just put name like that. And I'm also going to put an area label on here. I'm going to put first name. I want to keep it short because that one's going to be a little tighter. It's a little small, so we'll do a placeholder of first name with an area label equals to first name, because we don't have an actual label. So because we don't have an actual label that we're putting on it, we're just using a placeholder. I want my area label here for accessibility reasons. So that is there. There we go. My first name we can see, and I can copy this whole little div here. This one is going to be my email, so we can switch that over. It's still a form input. This will just be email. And this one will be email. Nice and simple. There we go. And the last thing we need is a button. So my button will get class equals form button. And I'll also give it a type is equal to submit. So we can submit our form with it. And here we can just put in sign up. There we go. So as far as that goes, that is everything we need on the markup side, I believe. I don't think we're going to have to come back here. So we're going to go over to my CSS. Now you'll notice it says SCSS. I could be writing Sass. I have my demo folder set up to be Sass files, but I'm not going to be writing any Sass in this one. We're just going to be writing regular CSS. So let's get started on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just up here, make a CSS. I'm thinking constant for some reason, but it's not a constant. It's not a variable. Well, it is a variable, sort of. Custom property. There we go. We have my custom property where I'm just going to store my color, and I'm going to come to my body just to do a few things. I'm going to give it a min height of 100 VH. We'll give it a display of grid, and normally it would not be doing this, but place items center. I get an error whenever I do place items. I don't know what is up with that. Maybe because it's not so widely supported. I'm not sure. But what that will allow us to do is center everything directly in the middle of the page. Now I like doing this to center stuff on the page for demos. Place items seems to have lower support than most stuff. So like you could do it with the display flex and justify content align items and all that. So I'm just saving a line of code just because it's a demo. So font family can be PT Sans Narrow, like I mentioned, with a fallback of just a sans serif. Cool, and now we can get into the nitty gritty, make sure we do things properly there, and we can dive in. So let's grab our form and start setting things up. So display of flex. Now, one thing is I only design this as like this. I didn't design a mobile version of it, but we're going to be doing both. So we're going to start with the mobile version. And because of that, so display flex will put them all next to each other. So I'm going to do a flex direction of column on here. So instead of that, they are going to stack this way around. You'll see it does help stretch out my button, which will make things look a little better. I will put on my box shadow. So a box shadow of, let's say, 40 pixels, RGBA 000.2. And I said 0.2 as a question mark because you never really know with these things. That's not terrible, actually, because we're going to be playing around with everything. I want it to be really subtle. Maybe I'll drop this down a little bit. There we go. Again, I like having it nice and subtle. I'm going to add in a border radius on this because obviously it's nice and round here. Now, I think if we did a full border radius like that, it wouldn't look so hot. And actually, see how these are... this doesn't look like it's doing anything. Let's put a background on here. Background of red. Is that even going to work? So you can, we'll give it a bit of padding. Padding 5 pixels. Just so we can see. There is a border radius on it. It's working. I think that's even going to be too big. We're going to drop it down to 20. And the reason that I find it's a little bit too big, so we can see that it's working, but the problem is these things are sticking out from it. So instead of what we can do is an overflow of hidden. So we can hide those parts that were sticking out from there. Now it's hard to notice, but let's take that padding off. Because by doing that, there we go. So now you can see we're encapsulating everything in there. So we don't need the background color or that. And we're sort of stuck in this little bubble that we're making now. I also want to make it a bit bigger. So let's give this a width of like 80%, which is probably going to be way too big. I'm going to go to my inspect here. So in my dev tools in Chrome, this button that I'm looking for is on this side, but I'm in Firefox. So it's this one here, which is responsive mode. I get lots of questions about responsive mode when I use it. So, it is built into the browser. It's nice and easy to use. So yeah, it gets too wide. So width 80%, but let's give this a max width of, I don't know, 350-ish pixels or something like that, just to stop it from exploding. And if we have to play with that, I think that's still going to be too big. Let's drop it down a little bit. Cool. So I think that's okay for the form itself. Now let's come on to my form input because I want to set the font family on this. So font family can be inherit. And why this isn't the default, who knows? We also want to text transform uppercase because everything should be capitalized. And my font weight, I did use the bold. It doesn't look too bold in the design down below, but I definitely used it. So let's just see, that's starting to work a little bit. And you know what? This can also be on my button, like that. Let's check that out. You might notice when I save, like button drop down to there, I do have prettier on. So sometimes when I save, I don't remember seeing it come in on my index, but if I hit save and things shift a little bit, it's just from prettier kicking into action. The font size is way too big. Font size, I don't remember what I did, but 12 maybe? It's still too big. It is going to be 10. Which is tiny. I usually that makes me cringe. I'm so used to using big font sizes, and we probably want some letter spacing on here. I always start at 1 and work my way around from there. That's not bad. Maybe a little bit more. Try that. Okay, and let's do border of 0 because obviously we don't want these borders to be on there. Much better. Look, we're like halfway there, I think. Maybe not quite, but so this is on my form input, so the input item itself. But we have our form. We want to give it some space, right? So like padding, just to create a bit of a spacing around them, and so they're not touching the sides there. So whoa, already, oh, so much better, awesome. Now we also want our placeholders to, we want to change the color of these when we click on it so it's noticeable what's going on, because we don't really have a focus state otherwise. So what we can do is my form input placeholder, and we can say the color of that is my var color. Did I call it color? I just called it color before because it's my only color. It's not the best name for a variable, but again, we're just doing a little single little demo here. So that's a good start. The only problem is we can't really see it too well. So I want to, what am I doing? I don't want it to always be blue. I only want it to be blue when I'm clicked inside to sort of indicate that I've clicked in. So on my placeholder, let's see here, we're gonna add focus placeholder. So when I click and it focuses, the placeholder is going to change color, and we're also gonna opacity like 0.85 maybe, because I do want to make it a bit darker. There we go. So now it makes it uneven. What I think I'm gonna do is form input placeholder opacity of like 0.4. Don't want to get too low. We do have the area labels on there, but it's probably a bit too much there. Maybe a 3.5 instead of a 4. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. And by highlighting it, we are showing which one we're definitely in. Now we want that line to go between. Now, obviously I don't want it this way. In this case, we're going to want it to come this way. I just realized I put a border of 0 here, but I still have a border. Oh, this should be form button, not just button. Form button. How did I not notice that before? We'll fix up the button in a little bit, but let's come and do that line. So for that, we can do our form. I think I'm gonna do form item, and then my first of type. And I'm going to add a position of relative on this. So first of type, it's going to select my first form item, which if you remember is the parent here. I don't want to select my input itself. I want to select this whole div. I don't think we're going to need this div on the small sizes, but I think it's going to come into play at the larger screen sizes just for flex alignment and stuff. So the first of type, so the form item. So I'm taking this parent div because on that I'm going to place a pseudo element. And actually I wouldn't be able to use this pseudo element on the form input. I don't think, because form inputs, are they replaced elements? I'm not sure. Images are replaced elements. Maybe I could put it on an input. But first of type position relative. So then I can come and do a form item first of type after. So get into pseudo element. So that means here I need my content. I need my position of absolute. I had a question the other day about whether we need this to be a position of absolute or not. It doesn't have to be. If you do a display block, you don't actually need to assign a position to a pseudo element. So a fun little fact there. And if you want to know more about pseudo elements, I do have a little series on them. Let's just think. I'm just going to do right 0, left 0, bottom 0, and give it a height of 1 pixel, and we'll give it a color RGBA 0, 0, 0. I want it to be pretty subtle, so let's just go with 10% and see what that looks like. Boom. Super. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. We'll see. I might move the line in a little bit, but I'm going to keep my sign up button sort of like it is now. So maybe not. So here we have form button. So the background right away, var color. Color itself should be white. And I need some padding on it. So padding, I'm going to do 1em, 2em, and we can adjust from there. Actually, the left and right padding won't really matter right now. Top and bottom, I want it a little bit more than that, 1.25. You know, I'm going to leave. I think I'm done. I think that looks really nice. Yeah, I think that works. I think that works really well, except I can't click out here, but I can click here. Oh no. Let's fix that, because that's a bit of a problem that we have to come here and I can't click out there. Form input background is red. Let's do a lighter color than red so we don't hurt your eyes too much. Pink. So I need that to go the whole size. So what I'm going to actually do is my form item display flex. Is that going to be enough? Form item border. I just want to see 1 pixel solid red. That's doing that. So if this is display flex, flex direction of column. There we go. Now it's going to stretch the whole size. I could just give those a width of 100, I guess, but I'm going to need this, I'm pretty sure, afterwards anyway. So that will work. And the reason this is actually working is by default flex items stretch on the axis, the up and down way, but because I switch the flex direction this way, they're stretching left and right now, so they fill up the whole space automatically. So there we go. Okay, so now we can actually click all the way out here, which makes a lot more sense. But now we want at the larger screen sizes, so let's come down. I think we're big enough, so let's say at media only screen, and what do we do? And min width. Again, I'm just coming up with numbers right now that I think are going to work. So on the form itself, we need to flex direction to row. And that should switch them to go next to each other. My button has disappeared, but that's okay. At least it's working. I think what we'll also do is the min width. Max width is going to have to change because the max width is way too small. So max width can become, I don't know, 600 pixels, and we'll see. Do I get my button back? Yeah, my button has returned too. That might be too big. We'll do 550. That might even be too big. We'll stick with that for now as we style the rest of it, and I can always come back and change it. So one thing it's going to change is now I need this white space here. I want to bring that around, and actually I want to move my button over. Let's do my button first. Form, button, margin left, auto. I could do, it's in a flex parent, so I could use like an align self or whatever, but bang, that is the easiest way to do it, in my opinion. This is also going to need a border radius on there now. Border radius of, I don't know, 2em. Is that going to be enough to round it off completely? Yep. So here, my max width, we're going to put a border. I'm going to try, that looks like about 10 pixels, so solid white, and we'll see how 10 pixels looks. That looks okay, but my border radius needs to change now. Border radius, because it just looks ugly. So we'll try the same 2em. It might be too small. Yeah, perfection. There we go. Maybe 10's a little big. And this, I can come back to the original just so I'm not overwriting for nothing. Because I was, if you remember when I made my form button, sorry, I'm scrolling a lot. This was the top and bottom. I just sort of guessed at this one. So I guessed wrong. Is that perfectly round? I'm going to boost. I think it's a little too much. So we'll go with that. And I'm just going to boost the border radius of these up to 3. Because I don't trust that they're... Yeah, that looks a bit more pill-shaped. I think I was missing a little bit of border radius on those. Cool. I think maybe the last thing we're going to need to change is my form item first of type after. And what I'm going to do on this one now, because it's clearly in the wrong spot, let's I'm going to do right 0, top 0, bottom 0. Width is 1 pixel. I had a height, so I'm gonna have to reset the height. So to reset something, we can put it to initial. Right, top, bottom. I must have had a left, so I'm also gonna put the left to initial as well. And this drives me nuts that left is all the way down here. So let's put left there. Right. Usually anyway, whatever, doesn't matter. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, boom. That worked. And actually, everything's more or less working. I'm a little bit surprised. The only thing I'm not sure about right now is actually if these are perfectly centered. It looks like there might be more space on the bottom. You know, they actually do, eh? Because I think, let's just go to my form button and padding 2M, 1M. See, like right now, I don't know. I screwed up my button on purpose. It's kind of fun as a circle, but I'm going to change that back. See how these came off like they're not centered? So the reason I thought that I was actually going to need those form items is so I could do, might as well just keep that here. Form item. So it's already display flex from what we did above outside the media query. And because it's display flex and because the flex direction is column, my main axis is now up and down. So on my main axis, I can do a justify content center. And I think that would, there we go. It would actually center directly in that space. In this case, it wasn't really needed because my button wasn't too thick, but I think it's safe to have that on there as just sort of some sort of like a little fallback to make sure that it'll work. So we don't need this padding on there, so we can get rid of it, because I'm pretty happy with how it looks. So not 100% necessary, but it could be if ever some numbers changed, at least we know those would stay in the middle. I thought we'd actually have to do a little bit of work to get this to be bigger than this one, but it was sort of a happy accident. Now, except it's not quite a happy accident. Now, is it? That's the item form input, just really fast. Border radius, border 1 pixel solid red. Because I think they're too small. Yeah, I want email to stretch more. So form item, that's my input. What about my item? Background pink. We're doing it the other way around this time. The outside one is pink and the inside one has the border radius on it. So I think, we have our they're flex items. The problem with a flex item is it always defaults, like if you do the shorthand flex, it defaults to 0, 1, I don't know what the percentage is, 100% probably, but the 0 is the grow and this is the shrink. So it's actually pretty much just trying to shrink and it won't grow. So if we change, like if I save, nothing would change now, but if I set that to 1, 1, it's gonna say it can grow. So they should stretch. The only thing is I don't want this one to stretch. I only want that one to stretch. I don't want this one too, because I like the sizing of that. So let's turn this off. I can't see my pink backgrounds because these have my background color on it. Anyway, so we can save there. So what we could do instead, and my form inputs are gonna go with it because these are flex parents as well. This is where maybe I should have given this one a class name, form name, and form email or something like that. But we'll just go with my form item last of type. Or I could do an nth, nth child 2 and say 2, but we'll just do last of type. Is going to be a flex grow of 1. And that should mean, boom, look at that. And that means we can click anywhere in there. So we don't need this anymore. Refresh. Haha, there we go. And this whole thing is the email field that I can click on. Super duper. I think that's done. Let's just shrink that back down and make sure it's looking good. And it looks like it'll work at all screen sizes. Now it doesn't look exactly the same at the, we're getting rid of that border that's on here. But I think it keeps the spirit of things alive at the different, here I have it cutting the whole way across my line, whereas on here again we have that border that goes the whole way, so there is a bit of a space. But I think overall it's looking good at both. I think with the border here it would probably look a little strange, so I'm going to keep it that way. If you want to experiment it with it further, by all means go for it. I hope you liked that. I hope you enjoyed it. I really had a lot of fun coding it. It was cool. not overly challenging, but interesting and fun to do. And yeah, I enjoyed that. So I really hope you did too. I hope you learned something along the way. If you learned something new, please let me know down in the comments below what it was that you learned, because I like knowing when I can help you guys out and just the little bits of knowledge that you might have come across in that video. And even if you didn't learn anything, leave a comment down below. Anyway, I love talking to you guys. And speaking of talking to you guys, come and join us over at the community. It's a Discord channel. It's free to join. There's a link to it in the description below. You click on that username, and if you already have a Discord, it probably just throws you in the channel. Don't know how that works, but it's easy to do, like super easy. So come and join us, and I try and get in there as much as I can. And there's a whole bunch of really cool, awesome dev people in there with all ranges of experience. So come and join us, please. A big thank you to my patrons for helping support everything I do here at this channel, and an especially big thank you to Fernando, Jonathan, and Lauren for being supporters of Awesome. You guys are amazing with your super generous contributions, so I really appreciate that. This is now going to be closed captioned. My last video was closed captioned. If it's not, as soon as it's released, really shortly after, all my videos from now on should be closed captioned. So thank you very much to my patrons for helping make that possible. It's because of their support that I'm able to do it, because without that, it's just way too expensive. So now you can actually watch these videos while you're at work on mute, and you know that what's coming up is exactly what I'm saying. Don't do that though. You might get fired, but you can if you want to. If you don't know about Patreon, it is a place where you can help support creators who make content that you find valuable. So I try and get my videos up early there, and I try and give I have a vlog and other stuff that is patron only. So if you want a little bit of extra content on my site, you can check that out and see what is going on over there. Once again, link in the description below. Thank you so much for watching all of this. I really hope you did enjoy it, and I'm guessing you did if you're still around here right now. I look forward to seeing you again next week, but until then, don't forget to make your corner of the internet just a little bit more awesome.